My name is John Ryder. I'm the Executive Director at the Michigan Heroes Museum in Frankenmuth, Michigan. The Michigan Heroes Museum, we tell the stories of over 900 servicemen and women on a rotating basis. At any given time, we've got about 160 stories out within the museum. Beyond those stories of the Civil War, we also focus on the Spanish-American War, World War I, World War II, the Korean War, Vietnam, Desert Storm, and the current global war on terror. And then we also focus on our astronauts from the state of Michigan. We also have two very special other galleries, and those are the Cross Gallery. The Cross is the second highest decoration for valor and bravery. The Cross for the soldiers of the Army, it'll be the Distinguished Service Cross. For sailors and Marines, they would receive the Navy Cross, and then there's the Air Force Cross as well. The last gallery that we focus on is the Medal of Honor Gallery. Our Medal of Honor Gallery contains more medals of honor than any other institution anywhere in the world on public display. And it's an amazing collection. Everybody in the museum lived in Michigan at some point in their life. That's the only thing that we ask for people, is that they have had residency in Michigan at some point. Maybe it was they were born here, maybe they retired here, maybe they only left to serve, or maybe they only were in Michigan to serve at a base. We have some of our Polar Bear Regiment that came from around the country, but they spent their time in basic training here in Michigan. So we've got 16 of the 17 astronauts attributed to the state of Michigan, and their stories are absolutely amazing. Everything from General McDivitt's, who went up on the Gemini in a capsule, a Gemini capsule. He and Ed White were up there together when Ed White opens the hatch and takes the first spacewalk ever. All the way till today, when we've got Christina Hammock Cook, who's the first female from the state of Michigan. She went up in 2019, took the longest space flight ever of a female astronaut, the second longest of a U.S. astronaut. And during that spacewalk, she took part in the first 3 all-women spacewalks, right? She's an amazing person, and we'd love to tell her story here at the museum. The museum, we focus on the stories of the actual individuals. Most of these come to the museum. Most of these individuals know that the museum existed, or the families, when they come through the museum, they say, hey, would you be interested in our grandma's story or our uncle's story? Well, of course we are. We'd like to have those stories to be able to share with all of Michigan. I don't care whether somebody's a clerk typist or a cook or a frontline combat. They served, and they served honorably, and we've got individuals here that did jobs most people didn't even know needed to be done. And so it's just a really neat collection of stories of everybody that served. The museum here, it acts just as much a chapel or a place of counseling and things like that for our servicemen and women and the families of servicemen and women, right? The individuals that come through here, they'll generally feel a reverence in a fondness towards these individuals who most of these people don't know them, and they don't know these individuals either. But these people all fought for our freedoms, whether they knew you or not. But you'll notice we have some artifacts in each of these cases, and we also have some artifacts up above. For the most part, we don't concentrate on those artifacts. We talk about the actual individuals, because a lot of military museums will explain those artifacts. Here at the Michigan Heroes Museum, we want to talk about our heroes. Most of these artifacts come from families or the individuals themselves that use those artifacts in telling their stories. And so most of these things that you'll see around here, are donated by individuals. There's very few things that the museum went out to procure. When you come in here, you're going to understand why it's important to us to honor, respect, and remember each and every one of these stories.